again. Joining us today is someone who is a singer and an actress, has embraced nearly all forms of the entertainment media. No relation to Gatch, she's the exciting Lanie Kazan. And now, here's your man of the half hour, Skippy Lowe.
Lanie Kazan, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
What a great place to come from.
I think so.
Really, Brooklyn is a great place. I love Brooklyn. The Elegante, what was that club?
Morty, oh, you mean the Elegant?
Elegante.
That was right around the corner from my house.
Did it really? Elegante?
The Elegant. I lived on Avenue H in East 8th Street.
Uh-huh.
Well, I wasn't brought up there. I was brought up on Beekman Place, not the Beekman Place.
Right.
The Beekman.
Right.
It was near Prospect Park.
Uh-huh.
And I have such fond memories of Brooklyn.
You do?
I do.
Growing up, you had a good time?
I had a great childhood. You know, so many entertainers and so many actors I know, tell me about the traumas of their, their childhood. But I had a wonderful childhood. It was later that I had traumas.
Growing up in Brooklyn, when did you decide to become a singer?
My mother decided for me.
Your mother?
Yeah, my mother was a wannabe dancer. And I guess when I came along, she realized I had some talent. So instead of, ignoring it or whatever have you, she decided that, she'd fulfill her dreams with me. So what she did was she took me to all kinds of dancing classes and acting classes. So I was dancing at about 3.5 years old and doing concerts at the Brooklyn Academy of Music.
You're kidding.
By the time I was 4, no. So I was a child performer until I was about 12. And then I decided I wanted to just be a regular kid. And when it came time to go to high school, I wanted nothing to do with the arts.
Really?
Show business, yeah. And it wasn't until I graduated from high school and thought, what am I going to do with my life? And my parents said, you have to go to college and whatever. So I tried out for dramatic scholarships, and I got a scholarship to Hofstra University in Long Island. And so that's where I continued with my career. But
First singing job.
My first singing job was at a place called the Lamplighter in Long Island.
In Long Island. I worked it. Isn't that strange?
Honest to God?
For
it was
a
a
guy,
weekend.
matter of fact, the agent was in Long Island. Brody, something like that? Or
I don't
it doesn't
remember.
Matter. But
All I remember, I don't even know how. I remember how I got the job.
How?
I got the job because Carmine DeSapio, remember Carmine DeSapio? He had something to do with something to do with government or
Carmine,
something shady, if I remember. And his nephew and I were dating, and he knew that I was studying acting and that I sang. And so he got me this weekend job, and I'll never forget my dad took me to sing, and he hated the idea of nightclubs for his daughter. And so he took me to the job, stood by the door like this. He said to me, "Are you finished?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Get in the car." That was my first job. Yeah, he.
Did you work the mountains a lot?
Oh,
you didn't.
I didn't work the mountains a lot. No, I did that job, and then I really was an actress. I got a drama scholarship to Hofstra, and became the kind of comedian actress at school. And I worked every summer while I was in college. I did industrial shows. I did a Broadway show that ran a second called The Happiest Girl in the World.
Yes.
I did Bravo Giovanni. And then
Funny girl too.
But that was after I graduated.
Yeah.
And then I did another show, the Road Company of Sound of Music. I was actually a nun. Would you believe it?
Lanie Kazan, I didn't realize you did so much theater.
Yeah.
Because I always think of Lanie Kazan as the Playboy Club circuit
That came
singers.
much later,
Isn't that strange? A lot of people don't know this. Really, I don't think. Because
no, actually, no one's ever asked me.
Isn't that strange? Because you worked a lot, the Playboy circuit's a lot.
Yeah, well, actually, what happened, I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
What happened? You stayed here?
No, what happened was, I'll be as brief as I can, but I did all this Broadway stuff, and I really loved it.
You loved theater?
I loved theater, and it was what I had studied in college, and it was what I knew. And when I came out of school, I auditioned for a club called The Living Room.
Of course.
Because the summer before that, I had done an industrial show for Oldsmobile.
Right.
And Carol Haney was the choreographer, and Judy Garland's drummer was playing drums. And I used to sing with them backstage.
Yes, yes.
And they started asking me if I could put some tunes together, and by the end of the summer I had about 13 songs. And some friends of mine, Ronnie Graham,
of course,
who
from
had
New
done
Faces,
Bravo
of course.
Giovanni, said, why don't you audition for this nightclub? I know the owner. So I got my little songs together, and I went and I got the job. I made $100 a week. I split it with my piano player. And during that week that I was there, I created such excitement. I didn't even know what I was doing. Had never really been in
a club.
in a
Really?
club by myself, except for that weekend at the Lamplighter.
Right.
And so Carol Haney brought the people from Funny Girl in to hear me, Ray Stark and whatever have you, and they hired me for Funny Girl. In the meanwhile, I didn't know what to do because a lot of other people were asking me to play the nightclub circuit.
Right.
And I did 2 other jobs in Canada, all by myself at some terrible nightclub in Winnipeg and one in Toronto. Hated it. And then I had gotten an offer to do 13 weeks at the Playboy clubs. And I remember thinking, I don't want to do this. I hate working at night like this. I hate all the drunks.
Did you really?
Oh, I hated it.
Yeah.
I didn't like being alone on the road. So I called everybody up and I said, listen, I'm going into Funny Girl. It's the chorus, and I know I could be a big star in nightclubs and be my own person, but I think I'd rather do the theater. So I took the theater job, and I of course, I spent a year and a half in Funny Girl understudying Barbara.
Barbra Streisand.
I got a movie contract with Ray Stark during that time I had a 7-year contract.
Did you
7
really?
Arts, yeah, 7 Arts Productions.
But your first film, what was your
My
first
first
you know
movie.
What Coppola? Fred Coppola had a lot to do with you, didn't he?
Francis.
Francis Coppola?
Yes.
Did he?
We went to college together.
Tell me about this, Lanie. What happened?
He went to college. He went to Hofstra. He was a big influence on the theater there, too. He was a very important person in the theater department, and he would produce and write, and I was his leading lady. So many years later, when I came out of my nightclub whirl, I had a pretty terrible time for many years, because after I did Funny Girl, I did become a nightclub singer, and a very successful
And a lot
one.
of people think just Lanie Kazan, that's all you did. Because on my mind, that's all I thought you were. Didn't realize you did a lot of theater.
Theater was my background.
Did not know that. Did not know.
And then of course, I went and I did all this nightclub work, and never really was happy.
You weren't?
Never, no.
What makes Lanie Kazan happy, though?
Singing, but at that time, it was not enough just to sing. It was the lifestyle that kind of took me for a ride in a very uncomfortable direction. I didn't like the people that I was surrounded by. I was an educated person. I was surrounded by terribly uneducated people.
Yes.
A lot of hoodlums, a lot of backstreet kind of people. I had a lot of very manipulative men in my life, and it was before women's lib.
Yes.
It was before, and I was always kind of a liberated person.
You're strong. You're a strong lady.
I am.
Yeah.
And I just didn't like the life. I didn't like staying out till 3 and 4 in the morning and not being with other people who were creative. It was just a lonely existence. I do like it now because it's not my life. I have other options.
Extraordinary voice, Lanie Kazan. Such an extraordinary voice. But you turned it around, and really, you went to your first love, which is acting.
Well, my first love is singing.
Is it really?
Yeah, my first love is singing, but it wasn't the light, as I said, the life.
The light, okay.
And it was Francis Coppola.
Coppola,
who hired me.
In a film.
In a film, and I was singing at the Fairmont Hotel, where I'm going now.
San
I'm
Francisco.
leaving on Saturday to go back there. But I was singing up in San Francisco, and he came. I hadn't seen him in 10 years or something. And he came backstage, and he said, "Oh, you're so wonderful, and I forgot how funny you are." I said, "Funny? I'm funny," because I was taking myself very seriously. I was like the chanteuse, and don't forget it.
Yeah.
And so he said, "Oh, you're so funny, and I have a part in a movie for you." I thought, sure. Here's a part in a movie for me. You know, I'll see that next year, for sure. And he sent me the script, and then he sent me a contract, and the next thing I knew, I was in the movie.
And you became a movie star.
Isn't that interesting?
Because you met Shelley Winters.
Oh, well, I knew Shelley a long time ago.
But she had a lot to do in your life,
yes,
didn't
she did.
Tell me about that, Lanie.
I was doing a play called The Women, and I was playing a part that Shelley had played. And I had a very unhappy experience in 2 Broadway shows back to back. It was right before oh God, this is right before I had my nightclubs. Because my life, I mean, it's been so interesting in many ways. And I was fired from one of the Broadway shows. It just crippled me emotionally. And Shelley and I met while I was in the Women. She came to see it, and she said, "Oh, you're so terrific, and I'd like you to come to the Actors Studio." And I had heard all my life about the Actors Studio because I had studied with Sandy Meisner, but my dream
Great
was
coach.
to study with Lee. And so she took me to the studio, introduced me to Lee, and so Lee was coming out here to teach a master class. And he asked me if I would like to come out and work with him, and I did. And all that time, Shelley was very supportive of me and a really great friend, and gave me such wonderful advice. And now we're really good friends. I mean, now we're
But
girlfriends.
that's method acting. Tell me
Yes.
about the method acting. You like that better than the... Because New Yorkers are all into method acting.
I
Why
really
is
was
that?
always a method actress. I just
Okay.
didn't know what to call it.
Okay.
Because method acting is just going inside yourself to your
Right.
own experience. And as a singer, I always did that.
Yeah.
Maybe as a comedian, I didn't, and that's I think what's making my performances a bit unique. Is because I base my comedy on
Yes.
the truth. I never just do the stuff I see as funny.
You're very honest.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're very
I
honest.
try to be, and I
Yeah.
find that my understanding of humor is in tragedy, because the flip side of tragedy becomes
The greatest comics
the
are...
greatest.
Of course.
So when you look at a horrible situation
Yeah.
with the light of the humorist, I think that's really true,
Yes.
the essence of comedy.
You've,
And that's what I try and do.
you've had a lot of tragedy in your lives and a lot of good times, and
Some
you know,
tragedy.
you're a tough lady. You remind me of Shelley Winters a lot. I don't know
Do you think
why.
so? Maybe
yeah,
that's
you
why
do.
we like each other so much.
You know, if they ever do Anna Magnani's story,
That's my dream.
I didn't even know it. But
I
that
agree.
lady, I'm serious. I've seen you in several things. I saw you in Delta Force.
Right, with
with
Shelley.
Tell me, oh, that was an exciting. But getting back with Anna Magnani, you really should do Anna Magnani's story.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
Oh,
That's a
'cause you're-
great idea. Thank
I know
you.
you're Jewish, but boy,
Yes.
you're Italian Jew.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
is she
yeah.
Carey on?
Yeah, she was great.
Oh,
She
great
was a great
actress.
actress.
Yeah.
In fact, I've always gravitated to the roles that she did, because I did Orpheus Descending, and I've
You
done
do a lot of
Rose Tattoo.
Italian ladies. You always
Yeah, I play a lot of
mothers
Italian,
and,
yeah.
and Jewish mothers.
Yeah,
But
but
tell me about the Delta Force when you were to Israel with Susan Strasberg and Shelley Winters. You the three lovely Jewish ladies. I
Oh,
mean,
we
really,
had
you must have had a good time
the
there.
best time.
Like what?
Well, for me, it was, first of all, just to work with all those great actors is the best. But Shelley and Susan and I guess, are also wonderful characters. And we each have such a strong personality that when the three of us are together, it's like watching some fabulous movie. I mean, I traveled with Susan all the way from L.A. to Israel.
Right.
And I'll never forget it, because I love Susan with all my heart. She's probably one of my most special friends on the planet. You know, she's just the best. And she has a fascination for, as you know, astrology and, you know.
We're Geminis, both her and
Oh,
I.
yes?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, when we get to the hotel, we've been traveling maybe 20 some odd hours, right? And we've been sleeping on the floor of the plane, and we've had we stopped in London, we stopped in New York, we changed planes. But we get to the hotel in Israel, and I'm just really, I know Susan a lot of years, but only on a very superficial basis. She gets to the desk, and she says, "What room number am I having?" Now, you have to know how we're exhausted, 20 some odd hours.
Right.
They said room 537. She takes out a pad and a pencil, and she does some numerology.
Numerology.
She says, "I can't take that room." Well, until she found a room where the numbers were right, I was on the floor. This woman, and then she did the woman's chart. Now, we have been
I love
standing
it.
in the lobby, and finally this
You were
woman
also
said,
tired.
She said, "I've been checking people into this hotel for over 20 years, but this is the most interesting check-in I've ever had in my life." So that's my, Susan, so you understand why it was interesting.
Yes.
And Shelley, her back was bad, so when we first got in, she had to have a board. Then she had to have a mattress that had some other qualities. And by the time we left Israel, she looked like the princess with the pea. She was all the way sleeping up there, you know, with boards and rubber pads and heating pads and whatever have you. And every time I'd come into her room, she was higher and higher up. But, you know, and my actor, they'd have to tell you about me, but it was...
You have some great memories with Shelley Winters, I bet.
I do.
Could you share one of them?
A funny one?
A funny one.
I've told this before, and I hope she doesn't get angry with me, but Shelley said to me when I first came out to L.A., you know, this is the first year that Hanukkah and Christmas are going to be celebrated on the same day. Would you like to come over with your daughter? Because Tori, her daughter, and she were going to celebrate it, and we'll have like a little dinner, the four of us. I said, Shelley, that's so sweet, thank you. As time progressed, and she would come into my nightclub, I had my nightclub out here at the time, called Lanie's Room. She would come out.
At the Playboy.
At the Playboy. And she would come out, and then she finally said, you know, my ex-husband's coming in. How about you invite your ex-husband? I said, okay, because we were good friends. And she said, you know, you don't know anybody out here, so what if I invite a couple of doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs, and the like? And I said, okay, because I'm kind of easygoing. And finally she said to me, you know, I'm thinking we should have a little music. She said, I know your ex-husband plays the piano, but what if we hired a piano player? I have $100. You want to give him $100? I said, okay, I'll ask him. About 2 months go by. She says, you know what I'm thinking? I don't have a piano. I said, Shelley, I'll get you a piano. So now I get her a piano. I call up a rent a thing, and she says, my God, she says, this piano is too big for my house. She says, I wanted a little spinette, and you got me a whole big baby grand. I said, Shelley, I can't deal with this anymore. Just, you know, now I'm getting upset. Now just take the piano that you got, or else do it yourself. Now we fade. Months later, it's finally going to be Christmas, New Year's, like 3 days before. She says to me, you know what? She says, Herschel Bernardi is going to sing a few tunes. I got a magician. I got this. She says, and there's a few, you know, like maybe 50, 60 people coming. I said, Shelley, what we having? She says, would you sing maybe a couple of tunes? I said, Shelley, all right. She says, and you know what? I'm thinking we don't have a microphone or anything. How's anybody going to hear you? I said, I'll bring the sound system. Now just leave me alone. On the opening, listen to me, on the day of the party, she calls me up in the morning and she says, I fell down and I have a concussion on my head and you're going to have to go to my house and set it up.
I love it.
I get to her house. There must be 200 little white bridge chairs all over the house. And on the piano, over the piano, there's a big sign that says, welcome, Lanie Kazan and Herschel Bernardi, the American Jewish Red Cross.
I love it.
I was doing a benefit.
I know it. That's
and she hired me for the benefit. It started out with dinner for 4. So Shelley and I have laughed about this over the years. It's a great story for me, my Shelley Winters story, but I love her. She's rich and warm and funny and very brilliant, very intelligent.
She takes care of her sister, which is lovely.
Isn't it? And she's a great actress.
Great. I think one of America's greats. Geraldine Page, Kim Stanley.
And she's an incredible teacher. Yeah. I mean, I've been to her classes. I mean, she's so clear.
What did you get out of her class, Lanie, when you sit and watch Shelley teach? Because I sat there the other week. What does Lanie Kazan, when she's sitting in, Shelley's so remarkable teaching. Oh, God, incredible.
Incredible. What do I get? Well, first of all, I go there to just kind of keep myself in tone.
Right.
As any athlete does, I have to keep my instrument in tune, you know. So I really get a true understanding of my technique because she cleans up my technique for me in listening to her. She's so clear. She's so astute as far as seeing what other people's problems are, that when I'm listening to her criticize or critique, I really understand that she knows because I agree with her and I think I have good taste.
She thinks you are one of the great actresses
Isn't
too.
that
That's
nice?
what she said. Lanie Kazan. But you know, I never realized that you were such a great actress until I've seen you in several films.
Aren't you sweet?
Because I always thought Lanie Kazan as a nightclub performer.
Most people, you know, and
yeah,
it's
they
interesting,
do.
most young people don't even know that I sing.
No, you have such an extraordinary voice.
Thank
really.
you. I love
Lanie Kazan,
to sing.
I'm going to ask you a question.
All right.
Looking back over your life, have you had a good time? Or
yes.
Would you say so?
I would. I'd say I've had a hard time. I didn't understand my gifts. I never understood.
What do you mean? I don't know what you mean.
I never understood. I was never given the the understanding of how much I had. So I was never secure. So I was always looking for the next dream. You know, I never understood that I was an attractive girl, that I was talented, that I had a good voice. So I was
You
never
realized you were attractive and beautiful?
No. No, so I was never secure. I suffered a lot, and I put myself in situations that I think that if I had had an understanding, a greater knowledge of myself, which I do now,
Yes.
I wouldn't have put myself in and been so vulnerable and accessible to so much pain.
Yes.
And made myself so nuts.
But that makes a great person.
Maybe.
Maybe?
Maybe. I don't know.
You've been through a lot.
Yeah, I've been through my share.
You've been
I was married and divorced.
Divorced, and you have a wonderful daughter.
I do
She's
have
lovely.
a
I
great
just met her in the
daughter.
green room. She's
Thank
lovely.
you.
And I understand she's going to college. Tell me
Yes.
about that.
She's going to be a film major. She's going to San Francisco State.
Uh-huh.
And August Coppola, who's Francis Coppola's brother, is the dean up there.
How nice.
And is giving Jennifer a really nice program. So we feel real comfortable. Her father passed away this year. So it's been
hard on you.
It's been hard.
Now this is even going to be harder. You know why? She's going to leave you.
I know.
You've been left alone for 18 years? Lanie Kazan, how are you going to feel? How are you going to handle this, Lanie?
You don't want me to start, do you? I would start to cry.
Sweetheart, don't. How is Lanie Kazan going to handle being alone?
Well, hopefully, I hope well.
Busy, huh?
I hope I'm going to handle it. My daughter and I just had dinner last night to discuss this whole thing because I'm having a terrible time. And she is too, and she was very honest with me because she's a beautiful, beautiful person. And she said, Mom, I'm scared too. She said, you know, I'm excited, but I'm scared. I'm excited for her, and I want very much to release her to the universe with love and support and joy, you know. But no one ever taught me or showed me or even explained to me that this time happens.
Yes.
It's kind of brushed over. I don't think there are any books written about it, or if I don't know about it, about the time when the parent has to let go.
Yes.
And you hear about it kind of starts, your friends start talking about it a little bit, but nobody ever says, oh, Lanie, wait till.
I know. This is good for
It's
you.
real interesting. What am I going to do? I'm going to hopefully become more creative.
And busy.
And busy. I've always been busy. I've never neglected myself or my career. I don't believe in that. But
you're doing concerts now.
Yes.
Lots of concerts. You'll be opening in San Francisco at the
I'm at the Fairmont. I'm going to Wolf Trap in Virginia. I'm going to Richmond, Virginia.
So you're going to keep yourself busy.
Yes, and I'm going to sing at Michael's Pub in New York
I love
for
that
3
place.
weeks.
Really,
and
that's great.
then I do a big concert out here in Los Angeles at Royce Hall on November 18th.
Oh, wonderful. Oceans. Tell me about that film.
I didn't do that.
You didn't do Oceans? Didn't you do it with Beth? I thought you did.
Oh, Beaches.
Beaches. That's it. Beaches, Ocean. I think
Same
it's
thing.
but
Yes.
I
Oh,
don't
what
know
a great experience.
Tell me about Beaches. What a great movie.
Wasn't it wonderful?
Yeah.
She is a fabulous lady.
Is she?
Bette Midler, yeah. Great lady. I really love her. She's got her stuff together. She's really been through a lot herself, and she's come out just better than ever. I had a great time. I think I'm very proud of my work in the film.
Yes.
And Shelley actually suggested that I go for
got
this.
the
You
part.
know, well,
yes.
yeah, she was asked if she wanted to play this part, and she didn't
she
want to
didn't want
play
the part.
it.
She
No.
wanted you to
She
have
said,
it.
"Why don't you, talk to Lanie Kazan?" And when I read it, I thought, I can't play Bette Midler's mother. I'm 2 years older than she is. But then I looked at it because I played her mother as a young girl too, and I thought, this could be real interesting if I do it so that I really look and behave differently when I'm the younger mother.
That's what makes a great actress, is taking chances. Don't worry about how young you are and how old you are. Taking those wonderful chances, you play older parts than you really are.
Most of the time I have. Now I'm kind of stuck with it, and I don't like that.
But you did something very sexy in Tab Hunter's movie.
Yeah, Lust in the
Lust of the Dust. What was that? Oh, come on,
Was that
Delaney.
fun?
Come
Was
on.
that
Did you have a good
fun?
time in that?
I did. I had a
I
great
saw your
time.
poster on Sunset Boulevard, Lanie.
Was that
I
his-
mean, that was kind of...
Divine,
Come on, tell me,
bless his
who was
soul.
Divine?
Divine was a transsexual,
Right.
transvestite,
Vestite,
not
yeah.
transsexual,
Right.
because he just dressed as a woman, and not all the time. Because when he was in his you know, real world, he was a man, totally.
Did you have a good time in that?
I had the best time. In fact, of all my experiences in film, I would say that was probably the most fun I ever had.
Really?
Yeah, because it was like a 3 or 4 month time in my life. It was we filmed in Santa Fe, New Mexico, which is probably
Great. My
one of my
place. That's where I
favorite
wanna move
places
to.
in the world. In fact, I have plans to do that
Do you do?
myself. Yeah.
Everyone's going to Santa Fe. You know, Kim
Well, I
Stanley's
bought
there.
land. Really, I bought land there quite a while ago. So I'm planning to build.
Did you ever sit
something.
in Kim Stanley's class? One of
No,
America's
what I'd
great
love
actors.
to.
Shelley Winters.
Where? When does
Kim teaches
Here in LA?
She's great. One of America's
What a
great actresses.
she is. She
Extraordinary.
is extraordinary. What a great idea. I'd like to do that.
But keep that in back of your mind, the Anna Magnani story. Oh, I think it'd be great as the Anna Magnani. Tell me about Lanie Kazan going to do records or videos. Would you have any plans for doing that? Or albums? Or
I
anything?
do. In fact, I'm doing that now.
You do? Mm-hmm.
I'm doing an album with a gentleman who is, he's producing it for me. His name is Billy Vera. Do you know him?
Yeah, kind of. He was a singer, wasn't he?
He is a singer.
Yes,
He's
Billy, of course,
Vera
band.
and the
Yeah, of course,
Beaters.
that's right.
And he's also an actor. And he has an incredible understanding of jazz and of blues. And it's my forte, I think. And so we're putting an album together. And I haven't recorded in 12 years, so I'm very excited.
Your daughter and you sang in a TV show.
Yeah, my daughter sings.
Does she really?
Oh, she sings. She doesn't want to sing.
She
though.
doesn't want to sing.
Not right yet. She doesn't. She expressed it to me, and I think that she wants to do something different than her mom did, and that's all right for now. But I said to her, Jennifer, you know, you have an extraordinary gift, and that's something that you have to share. It doesn't have to be for money necessarily. You just have to share your gifts because God gave you these gifts, and they're there, and you have to use that. You know, even if it's just to sing for your friends.
You miss New York, Lanie?
Sometimes.
Because you live out here.
Yeah, I live out here. I have since.
Because you're such a New Yorker. And
yeah,
I love New York too.
I love New York, but I'm very happy here.
You are?
I really am. I don't think, I never feel that I'm not having a cultural experience. I don't feel that I'm bored. Now, when I'm single now, without my daughter, I may change my mind because, you know, it's been a very nice place to raise my child.
Yes.
I've been comfortable. I live in a place where it's peaceful and it's protected. But I may miss it. I miss my family. My family's in New York.
You meditate? Spiritual? You seem like you're a spiritual lady.
I am a spiritual lady, but I'm not I don't have a formula for it. I don't.
I think you do.
Well,
you're loving.
Yes, but I don't have when I say a formula, I don't do anything that's very organized.
Okay.
I do things for myself, and I know that my spirit is in a very healthy place. I'm a Jewish woman. I believe in the procreation of my culture, of the race of or not, religion, race.
Yes.
I'm not a religious person.
Yes.